Hi, this is WMPunk, and I'm going to be showing you how to use the Splatter texture creator for the Advanced Details module. To get started, we need to create a new Splatter texture config. To do that, just right-click, go Create, Microsplat, Advanced Detail, and Splatter Texture. Name this one Leaf. Now you can have up to 4 different layers to stack onto each other. If you don't need to use them all, you can also remove them or just leave it at 1. To get started, I'm going to fill in the inputs. Normal, height, smooth. And you can see right here, I just have a simple black and white for the alpha. Now down here in the display, we can change the result to display. We can have the input be displayed, the current layer. If you're using different layers, you can use this just to see the result of that layer, or you can do the full result. And then you can change each channel to see what it is. Right here we can see the normal doesn't look correct. That's because it's using a standard texture in the Unity normal format. So we have to click normal. And now it's correct. If you're using a pack texture where the red and blue channels are your X and Y, then you want to leave that unclicked. But for most things, you're probably just going to want to make sure that's click normal. Now, let me change it to height. Yeah. Okay, right here, underneath this, we have curves to make little adjustments if you need. See right here, we can adjust the height map, change it up a bit. And, you know, there's one for the alpha and the smooth as well. Now we have 3 different types of output. For the first layer, you have background. That only applies to the first layer. That will pretty much be just a straight input that can be used for the background. That you can use a different texture set or whatever you want. Normally, you want to have something that's going to be in the background that isn't black if you're planning on using a density painted like texture like these leaves are. Or else you could have little anomalies show. So you want to make sure at least fill something in the background. If you're doing that anyway. Now you can go overlay. In overlay mode, you have a single item. Oops. I've got to make sure to put it in a layer. There we go. And you can adjust where it's at, the rotation, and as you can see, it makes sure the texture is seamless. It'll loop around the edges. So you can adjust the size, the scale. You know, get it how you want. You can change the mask intensity, which would not show up right now because nothing is there to mask. Or, the main thing is the splatter. Now as you can see, I'm adding in randomly placed leaves. You can change the seed for the layer, or the master seed for everything, to make little adjustments or big adjustments, however you want. Now right here we have the scale adjustment. This will randomly change the scale of things and make them different, unique, make things pretty crazy. Or just leave it plain. Underneath that you have the actual scale curve. And as you can see, this adjusts the scale. It'll start off little and go to big. It always goes from left to right. So you can keep it all the same, or you can make it to ones underneath are smaller. Get maybe some perspective, however you would like to do it. There's adjustments there for it. You can also set the range. This will make a little more sense later. Show off how that would work a little bit. See now at halfway to full, it's only using the second half of the curve. And this comes in handy when you're using multiple layers. And I'll show an example of that later. You can change the mask intensity, the contrast, and there's also a curve width for the mask as well. Now, I'm just gonna call this good, even though it's no. Let's make it a little decent first. Make them kind of even. There we go, that's good. Now let's say I'm done. I'm ready to go. Down here you can change the name of the file, or if you already have a file that's created for it and all the textures, you want to make sure to hit override. Now you can choose to either pack the texture in microspat format, or you can leave it empty, and then you can choose the resolution. The display right here is in a lower resolution, so the quality can be better than what's actually displayed. It's at a lower resolution to make sure everything runs smooth and doesn't slow down. Right now, I'm just going to keep it at right there. And anyway, to get this, all you have to do now is hit export. Now, as you can see, I have all my textures created. If we go to the packed one, just to show off how that works. Now, as well, where is this? There we go. Now we have the smooth, the alpha, and the normal all packed into one texture over here. Now over here is an example of how to do a little more complicated. I have a background set up. It's pretty basic. I'll just go to layer mode so you can see. And then I have another leaf that's brown. This will be the older leaves. And then a little bit newer, and then fresh leaves. Now each one of these use the scale differently over here in scale range. As you can see, this one only goes about a third of the way, and the mask range is about the same. And over here, they both move up, and again, for the fresher ones, moves up higher. Now what this does is ensures, especially with the mask range, is all the greens, you can see right here I'm adjusting, if they're higher than the range of the yellow, the green will be on top of the yellow no matter what. And same thing is if the yellow has a range that's higher than the brown, the yellow is going to be above the brown. And this gives the effect of older leaves on the bottom, newer on top. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. You can do some experimenting. You can change the contrast and make things blend smoother. You could use this to blend in rocks if you didn't want a hard transition. You can use the textures as is. It's not going to come out with the best professional textures, but the main tool is to get this whole splatter type effect going on, because it can be pretty labor intensive to do this in a lot of programs already. So you could choose to either just use this how it is, or you can export it to whatever you want, Photoshop, GIMP, keep working on it. It'll save you a lot of time while working with it. Anyway, that's about it.